Welcome back to episode 2 of Protect the Sacred. What is up, you blasphemous people? Welcome back to A Raging Atheist. Welcome back to Protect the Sacred. Welcome back to looking at the historical protest that was known as No Dapple. And we're going to get into it. Today in this video, the conflict is going to start.
My name is LaDonna Brave Bull Allard, and you are on my homeland. This is my father's land. This is where I grew up. There's an old house that fell down. That's the house I grew up in. The other house is my father's house. My father died, so he's buried back over here, along with my son and my aunts and my cousins. This is very sacred land. I grew up knowing that. I knew that the holy hills of the Mandan are right here, the Okipa sites here, the sacred rocks that are here that tell us our futures. They're all right here. And 2 years ago, when I found out they were going to build this pipeline right outside my door, I thought, how could they do that? How could they not talk to me? And then they said they're going to put this pipeline, they're going to put it through a burial ground right there. What happens when that breaks? What happens to this? What happens to our water?
So this oil company comes onto Sioux land and doesn't even ask the landowners if they can burrow through their land, because this is a multi-billion-dollar pipeline, and money's more important than things like who owns the property. Money's more important than liberty and American freedom. Money's more important than these red people in the way. And they have no regard for the ancient sites of these peoples, for their history, for their religion. They have no regard for that. They only care about that bottom line and getting this pipeline built no matter what, because these people don't matter. They're more important.
It's like the same old story with the government and the agencies and big oil. We don't matter. So we have to fight to live.
On the first night, a single woman sat alone, warming herself in front of the sacred fire. The Standing Rock Nation passed a resolution in support of the camp. Days after the camp began, permits in Iowa for the Dakota Access Pipeline were approved.
You see how small the camp began. One single woman stayed over that first night, stoking the sacred fire. How small it started compared to how big it would get. The bravery of people standing in the face of this corporate oil machine that has no regard for human life. Could you do it? Could you stand there and not back away?
Indigenous youth led runs across the reservation to raise the alarm, and then to the capital of the United States to gather support against the pipeline.
We just came back from Washington, D.C., our 2,000-mile relay run. We stand! We stand! For water! For water! For life! For life!
Water protectors went to the North Dakota Capitol grounds and prayed for 3 days that the Missouri River was left undisturbed.
According to what we're understanding, there is not going to be no help for the tribes. There is going to be nothing.
So it's starting to build. Allies are coming in. The whole reservation is behind this. This is the great fight, the great cause. I have goosebumps just watching it. I'm getting emotional watching it again. So many people just went about their daily lives and didn't understand that history was going on at the same exact time. Didn't care to find out. But I don't blame them. because the news media that should have been informing them of it, well, they weren't.
In Iowa, 3 pipeline construction sites were sabotaged by arson, causing $1 million in damage. Despite these actions, the Army Corps approved permits and gave notice that construction was set to begin August 10, 2016. Water protectors drawn to the Sacred Stone camp were greeted with a heavy rainstorm, which lit the sky for hours during the night. In the morning, over a dozen water protectors made up of natives and allies gathered outside the gates of the Cannonball Ranch near the site of the Missouri River crossing. Private security, wearing sidearms, watched as water protectors strung banners and prayer ties along the fence. The next day, the number of water protectors doubled.
And this is started, I had said, if I have to stand alone, I'll be here. Look at all these people. Look at all the people that care about the water and the earth. Look at all these amazing people, these amazing warriors from everywhere.
So a thing you're gonna have to understand is that the water protectors were always peaceful, but they did take direct actions to stop this pipeline. They took action, and that would mean damaging property. The Dakota Access Pipeline itself, the machinery that used to carry out the construction of this pipeline through their land, right? They would use fire to shut down machinery. And you will see that they would use their bodies to shut down machinery. They would use numbers to overtake work sites and force workers out. But they were always peaceful. And there's going to be a lot of propaganda that the sheriff's department is going to spin about them having weapons and all of this. But they were always peaceful. They were always prayerful. And the direct actions were peaceful actions.
Morton County arrived in a convoy of police vehicles escorting pipeline construction equipment sandwiched between them. At no time did they hesitate due to treaty rights or to the rights of the United States citizen to protest. The Sheriff's Department escorted the company's contracted crews through indigenous treaty lands to begin construction. The water protectors sang, prayed, and placed their bodies in front of the machines. The Lakota told the police that this was their 1851 treaty land. The police arrested 12. Morton County Sheriff's Department would tell them if they were there tomorrow, they would be arrested for trespassing.
And so it begins. The Morton County Sheriff's Department comes onto their land, not to protect them and their rights, but to protect an outside oil company and the bottom line. Each and every single one of these police officers are an invading force, protecting an outside interest. And they begin immediately by arresting 12 peaceful protesters trying to stand in their way, trying to tell them that this is their land by treaty with the United States government.
In the following days, prayers were met with more arrests, including Dave Archambault, the chairman of the Standing Rock Sioux tribe. Until August 15th, the days repeated in song, prayer, and morning arrests as construction continued on the roadway into the Cannonball Ranch.
Every day we start our day.
And it has begun now. More allies would flood in. So much history would take place throughout the course of this protest. And you saw it there, the police presence. Morton County to begin with but their presence will grow and grow. They would have no problems following orders against people. They would have no problems brutalizing people to protect a corporation. They would have no problems at all with this. And that's where we're going to leave it for now, with this protest truly starting, with it really getting underway, with history really beginning. I want to thank you for being here, and I'll see you soon. And my patrons, as always, a special thank you. Your support means everything to me.